video I feel is necessary for me to make because it's not something that a lot of people talk about. Very personal, and people don't like to talk about things, so things go unspoken of. And this video is something that I feel that needs to be talked about a little bit more. I feel like I'm okay to talk about it now without wanting to run to my room and hide in my bed for the rest of my life. Well, first off, let me give you the backstory. So Joseph and I decided that we were ready for a new start, and we packed up everything, we sold our house in Colorado, and we were on our way out the door. Well, about, I want to say maybe 3 weeks before closing, 2 weeks before closing or so, my birthday, we're giving November 29th, and I had missed my cycle, and I was like, okay, whatever. It shows up when it wants to show up. It's here when it wants to be here. Whatever. A woman's body, it does what it wants, right? So didn't even think anything of it, but I was really crampy for the next 2 days. And so over that week, or the next few days, I was like, just complaining, oh my gosh, this just needs to hurry up. This period can just start whenever. I get it, I just wanted to come, okay? So it was December 1st rolled around, and it was 3 o'clock or so in the morning, maybe. I don't know, I'd have to time check that for you. But I still hadn't missed my cycle, so my app, I have this app that I use, and it's called the Avia Fertility app, actually. And basically it was telling me, hey, it's time to check. It is definitely pregnancy test day. So I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning because I had the biggest urge in the entire world to go to the bathroom. There was no way that I was going to be able to wait it. And so I got up and was like, whatever, I'm already up. So my husband has insomnia really bad. And Joseph is always up between the hours of 1 a.m. and 3 a.m. It's frustrating sometimes, but that day made it worth it. So I got up, did my business in the cup, whatever, and literally put the drops on the actual test. So I had a 99-cent test from the Dollar Tree or Family Dollar or wherever. I can't remember where I got it from. But I had dropped the droplets on it and went and was cleaning everything up, and I didn't cover up the test because I don't know why I didn't cover the test up. But I had finished, I cleaned everything up. I walked out of the bathroom for 2 seconds and didn't even think twice about it. But I walked back in and looked down, and there were 2 lines there. And I was like, wait a minute. Babe? Joseph just happened to be awake. And he's like, yeah, what's up? And I was like, I think you need to come in here. So he gets out of bed and he comes in here and he looks at it and he's like, is that real? And I was like, yeah. And I just started bawling. I was bawling. And Joseph's like, it's exciting. I'm excited. Let's do this. We were having a baby. It was so exciting. And it was so, I don't know, just at that moment, actually, I've got a clip of the excitement pictures that Joseph and I took. So yeah, we were really excited. So we moved down to Texas, we get here, and we decided that we were going to tell the family. My mother had already known, only because my mom lived in Colorado with me, and I had told my siblings already also, because my siblings and I have a very tight-knitted life, I guess you would say, for us spaced out as we are. I make sure that my siblings understand that they still come very high in priority in my life. I mean, all my family does, but my siblings are really a big backbone of mine. And so I let everybody know. We were all excited. Everything was going the way that it was supposed to be going. And I get we get into the house, we get everything moved in, and one day I just wasn't feeling right. So January 5th, I went to the restroom and noticed that something wasn't right. So I had started bleeding, and I was like, I'm freaking out at this point. So Joseph and I got up and went to the emergency room. Well, they did some ultrasounds and some blood work, and we really thought that they were going to tell us that we were okay and to go home. But when she came in and asked me how far along I was, and at this point I was roughly about 9 weeks, and she told me that I was actually having a missed miscarriage. So a missed miscarriage is basically when you begin to miscarry, but your body misses it, actually. And so there was no heartbeat, and my doctor told me the emergency room doctor told me that I needed to see a doctor within the next 2 days. So I was completely devastated. I felt like my entire world was going crashing down, that I didn't know where to go from here. And walking out of that emergency room, I had no words for it, none at all. I got home and she prescribed me some medication and explained to me what was going to happen, about the fact that I needed to get into a doctor because I needed to have a D&C done. With having a miscarriage and having the fetus still inside, it was important that I had went to the doctors and made sure that everything was taken care of. So going through the way that I have to go through, I didn't get into a doctor right away. And by that second day, so on February 5th, I had actually went through the entire miscarriage process. Joseph was the biggest support of my entire life. At that point, I physically had no control over anything, and it was probably one of the worst experiences. It was just so much at one point of time that my body physically couldn't handle it. And I honestly can tell you that women that go through something like this by themselves and that have to deal with this alone, it is traumatizing. It is something that completely changes you as a person, and it's not one of those things that you would ever wish on anybody. I'm not saying that people go around wishing negative things on others, but at the same time, this is never something that I would ever wish on another person in my life. The pain was excruciating, the contractions were horrible, and it literally was like having no choice of giving birth without having any type of medication at all. Like, some women do it free willingly, but knowing that I wasn't going to have a child after this didn't make it worth it. So by the next week, I had actually got into a doctor, and they did another ultrasound and let me know that the baby actually the fetus technically didn't have a heartbeat, and the heart stopped beating before it even started, basically. So your baby's heart starts beating around 6 to 7 weeks, and I made it to 6 weeks and 3 days. Or the baby had a heartbeat, maybe it didn't. I will never know. But overall, I do think that having Joseph's support here and having the support of my in-law family and having the support of my family really did help. The aftermath of having a miscarriage was traumatic, and it was actually really life-changing for me. Like, I went into a very big depression. It's been about a month and a half now, so I've already actually had a whole nother cycle, and we are, as of right now, Joseph and I have decided that we are going to try again. I feel that I'm okay now to be able to deal with something like this, and this is one of those things that I will. What's up, dude? You okay? that I will continue to do over and over and over again if that's, if that's what I'm supposed to do. I will try as many times as I possibly can to get the baby that I know that I deserve, and to be able to start the family that I know needs to be started. And having a very supportive spouse definitely makes everything a lot easier. I know that there are women out there that are doing this by themselves and have been through something very traumatic and haven't had somebody to lean on. Sorry, my dog, he's right here. I just know that I'm hoping that this video does help, and just some random facts about miscarriage in general. It is most pregnancies end in the first 13 weeks of the pregnancy during your first trimester. I carried until 10 weeks and the fetus was only alive for 6 weeks. And so that was something that drove me insane. But at the same time, you have to realize if that baby wasn't vital, then there was no way that that child was going to survive. And at the end of the day, it's probably better for your health for it to happen as early as it does than for you to be further along. It doesn't matter if your baby was lost at 3 weeks. It doesn't matter if your baby was lost at 5 or 6 weeks, or even, in the second or third trimester. It all matters, and it's all really important. And everybody needs to take, kind-heartedness to something like that. I personally never thought it would have happened to myself. And now that it has, and now that I'm added to that statistic, I would rather be someone who's there to, lean a shoulder on, or have somebody lean a shoulder on, to be able to morally support other women who are going through something like this, and let you know that you're not alone and you're not by yourself. And if you need anybody to talk to, contact your friends, contact your family. Like, there are medical specialists out there that will talk to you specifically for situations like this. You just have to be willing to talk to somebody. And right away, it's not gonna happen. For the first few days after my miscarriage happened, I didn't move from my bed for 4 days. I didn't shower, I barely ate. I literally cried for an entire 4 days straight. I didn't wanna speak to anybody. My husband was like, we need to get you out of the house. You can't do this. I gained 17 pounds, and this wasn't baby weight. It was just weight that I had gained from being depressed. I was so mad. I was so angry. I was like, I don't get it. Why would something like this happen to me? I didn't do anything wrong for this to happen. Like, I don't understand why this is happening to me. But it's not something that we're made to understand. It's just one of those things that we're just supposed to keep living life. And that's what I'm gonna do. And as of right now, Joseph and I are trying again for another baby. So in hopes in the next few months, we will have a baby on the way. But until then, I will, keep working out, keep taking my prenatal vitamins, those kind of things. Miscarriage is always gonna be hard, and it's not going to be something that you're going to be able to be okay with overnight. I still am not okay with it. I just am able to function, but sometimes it takes people a little bit longer to get there. So if you are in that spot and you're going through something, reach out to somebody, talk to somebody. Depression is a very important thing that should be talked about way more often also, but that's a whole nother video. So if you have any comments, you have any questions, leave them down in the box below. And I hope everybody enjoyed this video, and hopefully the next video that I make will be a lot better than this one. But for now, see you later.
I dream.